How's it going, everybody out there in podcast listening land? If that is even a place, I don't know. It sounds fictitious to me. But anyway, welcome to another episode. What? Another episode of Dan and Frankie Go to Hollywood. My name's Dan.
And I'm Frankie.
All day, every day. And we are here to talk about lots and lots of movies, lots of horror movies, being that it is Croctober. And
No,
fine,
it is not.
One day you're going to let me have that.
No.
Okay, fine. Well, it's Halloween month then. And and I still haven't seen Terrifier 3. Which is just destroying my soul because, I've kind of built a big obsession with the first two, like massive obsession to the point where, my Halloween costume this year, I've actually gone and found actual clown shoes for it. Everything, pop vinyls, you name it. Like I'm getting a custom hockey jersey made of Art the Clown and stuff. Like I am all over these films and I have not yet seen the third one, but you haven't seen it yet either, have you?
No, I keep having things happen that keep me from going to the cinema, so I don't think I've been since I saw Strange Darling, which was before I got sick. So yeah, I really want to see. What was I meant to see last week?
I don't know.
I still haven't seen Joker 2, and then I was gonna see what came out last week. Oh my God, my brain.
Smile 2?
We're recording late at night. My brain's not working. Yeah, Smile 2.
Yeah.
It's been getting lots of good reviews and lots of people think it's better than the first. So I'm looking forward to it. And then this week, I'll get to that later. So I'm hoping to get to, we've got Halloween poker this weekend. So that takes out a day. But I have a couple of days off work to make a nice long weekend. So fingers crossed I make it to the cinema.
But how freaking cool is, Terrifier 3 is just smashing so many records. It's on, if it hasn't been there already, it's like on its way to becoming the highest grossing independent film of all time. Like my local cinema, they started off showing 3 sessions a day and then they upped that to 5 or 6 a day after the popularity just surged. And I just think it is such a massive win for not only us horror fans, but independent filmmakers and stuff. So...
I heard in America it got to number 1.
It was, it did. It actually...
Which is crazy for a horror film. And that kind of horror film.
That's what I was going to say. Like, I have seen the infamous shower scene because someone uploaded it to YouTube and I just could not wait. I actually sat there for a couple of hours and I was like, okay, a couple of minutes. And I was like, oh, do I want to see it? And I thought, well, it's not a plot spoiler. I know that there is some big gory scene that happens in a shower. So, look, what the hell? And I watched it and it was every bit as amazing as I wanted it to be. And that's the thing, a movie that extreme, has made it to number 1. And I just think that's it's a really cool thing for the horror films in general, that a movie like that will be taken seriously now, so to speak, by the studios and stuff. They'll be like, oh well, we didn't think we could put movies like that in cinemas, but
we hope that studios look at that and learn some things.
I reckon they will.
But the same thing happened with the second one to a lesser extent than the third one. It's been building every time. But I don't know.
Exactly.
Look at Blumhouse. They used to make interesting films and now they all seem to not be so interesting and kind of...
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. No, that is absolutely true. But anyway, look, we'll see. But like I said, I think it's a win for independent filmmakers.
Just like the long legs marketing thing that we hope studios will stop putting the entire film in the trailer.
Exactly. But anyway, look, I will eventually get around to seeing this damn film. We'll get there. Well, anyway, I think we've talked about that enough. I reckon it's time for getting into a little bit of trivia. We have a very special guest on our on this episode, in line with our Croctober horror fest.
Just
come on.
You're not getting to trivia with.
Shut up, Nobbins. I haven't introduced you yet. You're not here yet. Okay, fine. October. My God, you people are so picky. Yeah, we're going to do a horror trivia game. So ordinarily, week to week, we have our friend Charlie Nobbins. Yes, that is absolutely 100% his real name, who comes up with a question or a scenario or, some fanciful flight of imagination that Frankie and I have to respond to and come up with a bunch of waffle. But this time around, we've actually got him on the show. We have actually driven past his house, waited for him to bring his trash out, kidnapped him, put him in the back of the Dan and Frankie Go to Hollywood van, and we've got him right here in the studio right now. Hello, Nobbins.
Hello, Daniel. I'm nodding like people can actually see me, and it's just embarrassing.
Well, we can see you, and that's the main thing. So,
That's true.
yeah. How are you doing, man? Like, this is pretty cool.
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, until I got kidnapped. It was fantastic.
Well, we'll release you back into the wild afterwards. We'll,
Yep.
Yeah, and for now, we'll provide snacks and water for you. There's a bowl right next to you on the floor there that you can drink from. So,
That's not water.
Damn, Frankie, did you tell him? Okay, it's vodka. Yeah. So, yeah, no. Well, this is kind of wild because we've mentioned your name in every single episode except one where we intentionally tried to refrain from using your name. So, it's the people out there, they know you by now. Like, so this is their chance to actually hear the voice.
I'm sure people will be disappointed worldwide.
Oh, poo. No, they won't. All of our wonderful fans in China and Japan and Korea, those are just the Asian countries. My God, there's
Bank.
I think it's like 12 countries or something people listen to us now, so or have stumbled upon us once and gone, oh, we never listen to that again.
Not Australia, though.
I don't know what accent that was, by the way. I'm not being racist.
It was half bongo.
That was just a general international accent. So, yeah. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a horror movie trivia game where Nobbins has generously come up with 20 questions, horror movie related questions. And in order to do this, he's going to read a question. Frankie is going to be the Freddy buzzer. I'm going to be the Jason buzzer. And so either of us has to speak up, like say the name, that's our buzzer to go in, and we answer the question. Frankie gets it wrong, I get it right. At the end,
question.
I get 20 points.
If someone buzzes in and gets it wrong, then does the other person get the chance to answer and take the point?
Jason.
So if you buzz in and get it wrong, the other person gets the full question and gets the opportunity to answer. Yes.
Oh my God. Nobbins,
points are not deducted. You only get points for a correct answer, though.
Yep. Cool. No, that sounds good to me. And I know Frankie's going to be compelled to cheat because she's probably got Letterboxd and IMDb and Wikipedia open in front of her right now. She actually went out today and bought extra monitors just so she can... She's actually got 5 monitors.
I don't cheat in things like this.
No, that is. I can actually vouch for that. She is like the least cheaty person I have ever met in my life. If any of us is going to be cheating, it'll be me. I guarantee it.
Plus, by the time I typed something in to look it up, like you would be answering it.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, this is amazing. Here we go. Our first ever
Freddy versus Jason.
Dan and Frankie Go to Hollywood with Nobbins movie trivia game show. Mr. Nobbins, the floor is yours.
Why, thank you, Daniel. Okay, for the first question, it's a multiple choice question, so you can either wait for all 3 multiple choice answers or risk it and buzz in early. So, what 1930s movie was the first to be released as a horror genre movie? A. Dracula, B. Murders in the Rue Morgue, or C. The Mummy?
Jason.
Daniel.
I think it was Dracula, because I think that was 1931.
100% correct there.
Bam!
Well done.
Thanks.
Good job. Okay, question 2. What is the highest worldwide grossing horror movie of all time, adjusted for inflation?
Jason.
Dan.
The Exorcist?
No.
Ooh.
I was going to guess that.
Frankie.
Jaws?
Correct.
Yes!
Well done.
Good thing you beat me to the buzzer.
Yeah.
Okay, question 3. What is the only horror movie to win Best Original Screenplay at the Oscars?
Jason.
Dan?
Silence of the Lambs?
No.
I'm sure I just heard this. Because it was a thing about when horror made it to the Oscars.
It was a thing. Well, I'm glad it was a thing. It was a thing.
Yeah.
The Thing being another movie which didn't win an Oscar.
Yes, that's true.
Was it The Exorcist?
No, that's what... no, you didn't say Exorcist.
No, I said Silence of the Lambs.
No, it was not The Exorcist. It was Get Out.
Oh,
right,
okay. That's not what I was hearing
Not
about
on the
then.
right track at all?
Mm.
No? Okay.
Fair enough.
Is that one to Nobbins then? It might have been all.
Unfair advantage.
You've already won the prize, Nobbins. You get to be on our podcast.
That is true. It is
Yeah.
an honor and a pleasure. Number 4. Which of these 3 movies has the current highest critic score on Metacritic? Is it It Follows? Is it Hereditary? Is it The Witch?
Freddie. Ooh,
Frankie.
Hereditary.
Correct.
Yes.
Nice.
I never look at Metacritic.
Currently on 87.
Mm-hmm.
The Witch on 84. And It Follows on 83.
You mean the Vitch?
I do not
No,
know.
The Witch.
Question 5. What was the character's name of the final girl that Jennifer Love Hewitt played in 1997's I Know What You Did Last Summer?
Shit.
Yeah.
I was so obsessed with her at
no
that time
idea.
as well. I even brought home the giant standee
I actually wrote this
part.
question for you, Dan, because I know how much you love this movie.
Oh my god. But
But it's embarrassing now because you can't get it.
The foyer standee with a giant Jennifer Love Hewitt. I actually brought that home with me because I worked there and I was able to, and that was in my room for so long. What the fuck was her name though?
Final girl.
Yeah.
Final L girl, I think her name was. But you can call her Ms. Girl.
Can we have what the first letter of her first name is?
No.
Okay, cool.
I'm going to give you a countdown from here. 5, 4,
Hey Google,
3.
who did Jennifer Love Hewitt play
1.
in I Know What You Did Last Summer?
The answer, of course, was Julie James.
Oh, was it? Fuck, what a stupid name. Google didn't even work. What the hell? You let me down, Google! Anyway, Julie James. Yeah, no, I wouldn't have actually got that. I thought that movie was so mediocre that I...
Yeah, I don't even know if I've seen it since the 90s. I couldn't name any character in it.
I remember
saw
the
it
opening
once,
scene where it had
and-
that typo negative song playing as the camera was going in towards the cliff, and then it, like, you know, comes in on that dude who's sitting there. That was actually a really genius shot and great choice of music and everything. That is literally the only thing I remember about that film.
I was going to go for what was the final girl's name in Scream, but I thought it'd be too obvious.
Yeah. I do remember another thing, though, and I Know What You Did Last Summer. There was a letter addressed probably to Julie James. And I remember because the town they were in was called Southport, and it was addressed to something Short Street, Southport. And here on the Gold Coast, we have Southport, which was actually the town I was born in, and there was a short street on it. And I remember looking at that and thinking to myself, oh my god, what a coincidence. Anyway, I digress.
Just a little.
Yeah.
Question 6. Name the 3 horror movies that Frankie has rated 5 stars on Letterboxd this year. Horror as defined by Letterboxd.
Are you fucking kidding me? That's a bit biased. What the hell, man?
Okay, Freddie. Long Legs.
Yep.
I don't even remember because I know I give 4.5 to a
Yes,
lot
that's why
until
it's
I
5.
can. That's not horror. What else have I given 5 stars?
One was on Jan 1st.
If I chime in and get this right, that's going to look like I am so stalking her.
Yeah, like you're at a letterbox as we speak, maybe doing a search.
What? What are you talking about? Just.
All right, I'm going to give you a countdown, Frankie.
I wouldn't
5,
even know how to
4,
look.
Oh, no, I
3,
didn't watch that this year.
2,
No.
Last Night in Soho, and The Burbs.
Oh, see, Yeah, I forgot I watched them this year.
Oh, there you go.
Very good movies.
Very good movies.
Yeah.
And here's this question back. So
Okay, I promise you, I'm turning Letterbox off. I will look.
that's
hands
okay.
up.
This isn't a letterbox question. What was the last horror movie that Dan gave 10 out of 10 to on his YouTube channel?
Jason.
Yep.
Oh my lord! Wow, you've done research, sir.
Yeah.
God, because I think I've only done one review this entire year, and that was Bongo doing Madam Web.
Sure.
Kind of.
A horror movie of a different type.
Yeah, exactly. That I gave 10 out of 10. A horror film that really impressed me. Far out, man. Nope, you've got me. I do not know. I pass. Frankie,
would you like to guess?
I don't.
Wouldn't have
even
been
know
anything
what your
this year.
recent reviews
Wasn't
are.
this year, no.
No. Was it an old movie that I did like a... Oh, it was a new movie. Yeah, no, I got nothing.
Yeah, trying to get my brain to work is hard. I'm trying to think what horror movies came out.
Oh, what? So you
in the
don't
last couple of
regularly
years.
watch my channel? Wow. Okay, fine.
All right, I'm going to cut off the suffering there. It was
Thank you.
Talk to Me.
Oh God! Of course it was. Ugh, damn it. Yeah.
Well, I thought you both get those questions and no one got anything, so that was...
I know. Shows how much we actually care about our own content that we put out and stuff. Yeah. Oopsies.
Okay.
I've watched a lot of movies this year.
Yeah, I haven't. I don't even remember doing a review
Next
of that
question.
film, but anyway, yeah.
How many movies are currently in the Friday the 13th franchise, according to Wikipedia?
Jason.
Jason?
Now, I've heard this being said, and I disagree with it, but apparently there are 13.
No.
Then I'm right. Damn it. I read somewhere that it was 13. I was like, hang on, no, there's not. But I then heard a couple of places.
I don't even know where the numbers end and where the other ones are.
So the numbers generally start at 0 and go up to infinity.
Oh. Can I redo my answer?
11?
Ooh, you dance around it. It was 12.
It's actually in between, yeah. Because you got the 10, going up to Jason X. You've got the remake, and then you got Freddy versus Jason. And those are the only ones I knew about, but I kept seeing...
I wasn't counting the remake.
I kept seeing that there are 13, and I always sort of thought to myself, hang on, what's the 13th one? What am I missing here? And yeah, I should have gone with my gut. God damn it. Screw you, Internet. You're wrong.
Screw you, gut.
Yeah.
What was Vincent Price's first role in a horror movie? Was it A, Tower of London, B, The Invisible Man Returns, or C, Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein?
Jason.
Yes, Danny.
I'm going to guess Tower of London.
And you would be correct.
Yeah. Educated guess.
Well, was it?
Yes. Because Abbott and Costello felt like it would have been later, and I wasn't paying attention to what the second one was.
So The Invisible Man Returns was the second horror.
Oh, that one. Well, yeah, kind of The Invisible Man Returns again sounds like it would have been a later film. So yeah,
it was actually in by a year. So yeah.
Oh, much later then. Yeah.
Plenty of time. This one I learnt today, and it was quite interesting. So it's a multiple choice. Mm-hmm. Dracula 2000 holds the record for the most number of Spotify plays. Why is that? Is it A, it's a really great movie? B, one of the songs on it re-emerged as a TikTok trend recently? C, Linkin Park's debut song was on it? or D, System of a Down's Chop Suey was featured on it?
Freddie.
Yes, Frankie.
I'm gonna guess the TikTok thing because I keep hearing about TikTok things making Spotify counts go way up.
You would think so, wouldn't you? But no, that is not right.
No?
In that case, Jason.
Yes, Daniel.
Which is Scandinavian for Jason. Linkin Park, all the way. Hundo,
100%.
boom,
Yep.
there it is.
One Step Closer was featured on it, and it's about 300 million streams.
Yeah, I just streamed the album.
Yeah.
It's quite a good album.
Well, they get 3
soundtrack.
million in one stream.
Although I haven't seen Dracula 2000, I don't even know
No.
what stuff's on the soundtrack.
It's a very bad
Either.
movie for a very good soundtrack.
Right.
A TV question, just to mix it up. I know you love TV, Daniel, so let's be right on the street.
Yeah, cool.
So, name 3 of the 5 TV shows that Mike Flanagan has created for Netflix.
Freddie,
Yes, Frankie.
Haunting of Hill House, the Bly Manor one.
Yes.
Does that count?
Yep.
And what's that other one called?
Use your big girl words.
I can't remember the title.
Oh,
I started watching it too.
did you though?
I did. No, I can't remember what it's called.
Would you like to try and steal the point there, Daniel?
The only one that I would know of is The Haunting of Hill House, and only because Greg Sestero was in an episode of that one. Yeah, I got nothing. I don't watch Netflix shows, so yeah.
Yeah. So I suspect the one that you were thinking of, Frankie, was Midnight Mass.
Yeah, that was it.
Never even
And
heard of
the
it.
2 after that were The Midnight Club and The Fall of the House of Usher.
Oh, yeah, okay. Fall of the House of Usher I've heard of. Yeah, all right. Well, can I pick the 3 that I've heard of? No, never mind.
Sure, yeah.
Fall of the House of Usher, The Midnight Madness,
Yep.
and the other one. I don't know.
Banana
Shut up.
Splits. Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
Question 12. What was the first 3D horror movie?
Jason,
Dan.
House of Wax.
Correct.
My mum went and saw that in a cinema.
Really?
Yep, when she was a little tyke.
I was going to say, is that when you conceived? But no.
Dude, it came out in, was it 55 or 6 around there
I
somewhere?
don't know how old your mum is. She might be that old.
Yeah, no, she's not that old. Wow, anyway, yeah. No, I was not. Yeah, in the bit where the guy's holding the paddle ball to the screen, and it was like she was going in rhythm with that. Like, oh, yeah. No, okay, never mind. Moving on.
It's a disturbing road to go down.
Now you get to see Frankie's facial expressions when I say stupid shit. Like, I live for these things.
I will think of that every time I listen to the podcast. Name 3 of the 5 movies that horror maestro Wes Craven directed in the 2000s, and they're not only horror.
Freddie,
Yes.
Appropriate.
Cursed.
Mhm.
Oh, 2000s. New Nightmare? What, do you mean 20? Oh, you just mean like
Just
2000
In
to
the
2010?
2000s. So any year that begins with a 20.
Which New Nightmare is not one of.
Is that?
That was 94.
Oh.
Just 6 years. You got one?
Nice. Suck it. Yeah. I give up.
Oh shit. What did you say,
Get my brain
Hearst?
to work. Cursed.
Cursed. I was like, Hearst? What the fuck is that? Is that, yeah. Cursed, Red Eye.
I love Cursed.
And there was there was like a romance film that he did. And I can't remember the name of it. Because it was a very big departure from what he normally does.
I mean, there's more obvious ones, but that's okay.
There is. There's Craven, 2000s. Red Eye. I don't think I've heard of Cursed, have I? I don't know.
Oh, you must have.
I must have.
Surely.
I did. I love that movie.
Otherwise you'll be
I
cursed.
own 20 copies of it. Oh God, what else did he do?
5, 4,
Oh, no,
3,
no.
2, One.
Nah.
Well, you got two of them. So the other movie you were thinking of, I think, was My Soul to Take.
Yeah.
Classic. And, of course, he directed Scream 3 and Scream 4.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
See, my mind went Scream was 90s, and I didn't even think about the sequels.
I'm handing in my movie fan credentials.
Sure.
That's it. I'm done with this podcast. Yeah, take my name off the marquee.
That was kind of sad. I thought that the Scream ones would be the ones you got, and the other three you struggled to get.
Yeah.
I love Cursed.
Oh, yeah, Cursed is great.
I've never heard of Cursed before. I shall have to look.
Thank you. Okay, I'm not the only one.
It's one that got kind of ruined by the studio, and lots of people hate it, but I still think it's very fun. And it's got Christina Ricci and Jesse Eisenberg. It's like a werewolf thing.
Ah,
I mean, it sounds like a typical Frankie movie that everyone hates apart from Frankie.
Not everyone, but it does get trashed.
I know
a
that
lot.
people have actually heard of it. I liked it better when it was called Hearst.
I think this is going to be things that horror people listening are going to be just amazed that you've never heard of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, but I preferred the sequel, Rehearsed. Get it? Rehearsed? Anyway.
Why? That's not even to do with Cursed.
No, because it's Hearst, so, yeah.
It's only in your mind.
Yeah. It's about this killer who drives around in a hearse, and when he kills people and throws them in the back, he's like, ha!
See, now you're
you've
going
been
more
Hearst.
phantasm.
Get it? Hearst. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, no. Okay, let's move on.
Please.
Question 14. What horror comedy stop-motion movie, co-written with Jordan Peele, was Henry Selick's first movie since directing Coraline in 2008?
Oh. I don't know. Oh, man. I have got nothing. Why does it look like Frankie's looking it up?
No, I'm just thinking
Staring
of
blankly in
a
space.
stop-motion horror movie.
Yeah.
That's not Coraline.
I mean, you could argue Coraline was a stop-motion horror movie. Night Before Christmas, maybe?
Yeah, kind of.
Corpse Bride.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but you said after Coraline, so
Yeah,
it wasn't
I
that.
don't
It's
remember
one
what
of
he
those ones.
did after that, and I've got nothing. I'm going to pass.
Same.
If
Oh,
I
there you
said
go.
W and W, would that help?
Wallace and Womit.
Yes. Well done.
Yay!
The worst of the werewebbit.
Yeah, that's it.
Frankie, would you like to take a guess?
Oh, I thought you were... Okay.
I thought we passed. This is hardly
Yeah,
fair.
no. I thought
I'm
you were
giving you a
just
second
giving the
chance
answer.
because, I think people...
So
are
it actually
sick
is
of you getting
W
it
and
wrong.
W?
W and W, yep.
Werewolves and women.
No, I don't know.
No. It was a movie called Wendell and Wild.
Okay.
Never heard of
Okay.
it.
It's a very good movie. I would
Okay.
recommend it.
Cool. Yeah, no, sounds great.
Okay, it's time for another multi-choice question.
Yay!
Approximately how many litres of fake blood were used in this year's The Substance? Was it 1,400? Was it 14,000? Was it 140,000? Was it 1.4 million?
Well, I haven't seen The Substance, so I don't know. Jason?
Yep.
B.
No.
Fuck.
Freddie.
Yep.
C.
Correct.
Oh!
140,000 litres of fake blood were used
Wow.
in the final act of The
Ah,
Substance.
spoiler. No, there's blood in
The
it.
crazy 20 minutes that everyone keeps talking about.
Okay, what horror movie released this year currently has the highest critic score on Rotten Tomatoes? Is it A, Long Legs, B, Late Night with the Devil, C, Strange Darling, or D, Oddity?
Ooh. Freddie.
Yep.
I'm just going to pick the one I want it to be, Strange Darling.
It is not Strange Darling, unfortunately.
Of course not.
Jason,
Yes, Dan.
I'm going to pick the one I want it to be and say Long Legs.
It is not that one either.
It's Oddity, isn't it?
No.
Ah, then...
It is Late Night
Late
with the Devil.
Night's still up there.
Yeah, that would have been the next one, I guessed.
So the 4th out of 4 would be the last one. Would be
yeah. That would have been the last one
Genius.
that I guessed. So yeah,
they're all above 90%, well above 90%. So Late Night with the Devil's about 90%, 97%.
Well, that's fair enough. It damn well deserves it.
Wow.
Not according to you, because you guessed 4 out of 4. It was the 4th worst, I think, according to you.
No, I'm thinking about what other people thought about things. So shut up.
So out of those 4, which one would you say was the best horror movie of the year so far?
I would pick Longlegs, because that's still my number one movie of the year. Not just
two
horror.
of them you haven't seen.
Yeah, exactly. Out of the 2.
But no, I would agree. I would say Longlegs too. But I
haven't seen Longlegs
really
2. I've only
enjoyed
seen the
Strange
first
Time.
one. Even though the sequel is out.
Longlegs 2. The legs are even longer.
I hope there is never a Longlegs 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
It doesn't need one, does it?
Oh, heck no. Anyway.
Okay, question 17. What was unusual about the financing of M. Night Shyamalan's Split?
Oh, Jason?
Yep.
What's good? Okay. Does it have something to do with his daughter playing the singer thing? Fuck off then. Okay, I don't know.
In Split?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hang on,
What was unusual about the financing of M. Night Shyamalan's
Trap.
Split?
Oh, God.
I don't know. I haven't heard anything to do with the making of that film.
Okay. He actually put out all the money himself.
No, that's right. I did read that.
Yeah. And I just got the wrong movie, so there you go.
Yeah, we're talking about a movie this year as opposed to a movie from however long ago Split was.
Yeah. Wow.
I love Split.
I did too.
That was the movie that made me notice Anya Taylor-Joy.
Mm-hmm.
Not The Witch?
No, she did not stand out. She's good in The Witch, but she didn't stand out to me, whereas when I went to see Split, I was like, who is that? And then I looked her up and went, oh, she was in The Witch.
Fun fact. Well, here's a question for you two. Nobbins, you're going to be Leatherface. Okay. Who played...
How come I get 3 syllables as opposed to 2? It seems like a disadvantage.
Okay, Michael Meyer. Mike, okay?
Oh, I get an advantage now. It's just 1 syllable.
Look, just shut up. Yeah. Who was Anya Taylor-Joy's stunt double in the movie Split?
Leatherface.
No idea.
Go for it, Leatherface.
Was it M. Night's daughter?
No, it was not. Frankie, would you like to have a guess who it was?
I have no idea.
It was Lauren Lavera, who plays Sienna Shaw in the Terrifier films. There you go. Yeah. Boom. I get a point. I get an extra point now because I knew that.
No.
I'm just taking a point off interrupting the...
God damn it.
Okay, another multiple choice question.
Yoo-hoo.
Which horror movie did Joel Cohen of the Coen brothers fame get his first career start in as an assistant film editor? Was it A, The Thing, B, The Evil Dead, C, A Nightmare on Elm Street, or D, An American Werewolf in London?
Jason.
Yep.
I think it was Evil Dead.
100% correct.
Yeah.
I was going to guess that.
No, I didn't guess it. I knew it.
Yeah, I said I was going to guess it.
Oh.
Apparently he was so enamored with the way that Sam Raimi directed, it actually led him into a career directing movies.
Mm-hmm.
Question 19.
Oh.
So just 2 more to go.
Oh.
Name 2 of the 3 movies that real-life serial killer Ed Gein inspired.
2, how many? 2 of the 3?
2 of the 3.
Okay, Jason.
Yep.
Silence of the Lambs, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Correct. And would you like to guess the 3rd?
No.
Apparently it was Psycho, so I didn't know.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, okay. I can sort of see how that would happen. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
There you go.
And the last question, which is the most important question and carries 20 points.
Wow.
Arbitrary rules and all that. Who is the biggest horror fan, Dan or Frankie?
Freddie.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to say me because I know what cursed is.
I'm going to say yes, and you win tonight.
Oh, seriously? fine, whatever. That was a loaded question. That one was.
Of course, weren't they all?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I've lost count. I don't actually know who won.
Yeah, what were the scores if that was only 1 point?
Let me just tally them up.
I think it was only 1 point. It's got to be. Otherwise I'm never doing this again.
Oh, we're not left doing this again anyway. So, what we got? 1, 2.
Because I feel like it was pretty even.
Yeah, I think you've got it.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe that's why, my brain doesn't work for details.
Yeah.
It was actually 6-4 in the end, but the winner tonight was no one.
Wow. And why is that?
Because there were 10 questions that neither of you knew the answer to.
Oh. Who got the 6 and who got the 4?
6 to you, Dan, and 4 to you, Frankie.
Okay, well that was very close. So yeah, I don't know. You know what? I think we're all winners here.
Are we? I don't know.
I would like to think we are.
Yeah. Just double checking that is correct. 6-4.
I think actually no, we're also kind of losers because 20 questions just wasn't enough. I could have done like twice that many, but we didn't. So there you go.
But then that would have been our whole podcast.
And what's wrong with that?
It is true.
Yeah.
What is wrong with that?
I think from the sounds of things, Nobbins, I hate to say it, but I think Frankie's trying to get rid of you. So
It does sound that way. So I shall depart and go hide in the corner and be sorry for my sins.
Fair enough. Nobbins, is there any last words that you would like to bestow upon your adoring fans out there?
No.
Okay, fair enough. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Charlie Nobbins with our first ever horror trivia game. I reckon we'll definitely have to do this again sometime because this was a hell of a lot of fun. But anyway, yeah, off you go. There he goes. Oh, yep, the door's closed and he's gone. All right, well, that was fun. And yeah, I mean, look, like I said, I think we both won. So yeah, congratulations to you. So
thank you, and to you as well.
Well, thank you. Yeah, but anyway, so back to the sort of stuff we normally talk about. What you been watching lately? Because once again,
doing that first.
Yeah, we're doing that first.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got nothing. I have not watched a single movie because all the rumors that I've heard about how difficult life can be when your babies start teething, it's absolutely true. And yeah, it's pretty much like all day and for nearly the whole night. Remember there was like that night that I was like messaging you to give you an update of like what my night was like. And, I didn't get to bed till like 1:45 and I was like, yeah, it's probably too late to watch a movie now. So yeah, I don't really have much to talk about. So I'm going to hand this over to you. This is now the Frankie Show.
Yes, well, the perks of being baby-free. I have been doing my 31 days of horror, so I have watched at least one horror movie every day this month. Woo! We're currently recording on the 22nd, so I can't remember how many. I've been watching more than one a day at times, and for anyone who's not so into horror, I do have 3 movies I will mention that are not horror. So, yeah, I just picked out my favorites from everything I've seen. Cool. So I think you've seen a couple. A few. Okay. I'll start with Trick or Treat.
Oh, my goodness.
Which I knew was an anthology film, and I've been meaning to get to it for a while because people talk about it being a good anthology film. And maybe part of why it's so good is because it's not the kind I was expecting with the kind of wraparound story and then it goes into separate little bits, whereas this is just different storylines happening at the same time in the same place on the one night. So it felt a bit more like a normal film, but it was so good. I mean, in Australia, we don't really do Halloween. It's not a thing. But the Halloween vibe in this movie is what I feel like Halloween should be, whether it's real or not, because Halloween for us is pretty much what we see in movies and on TV. because we do a bit of trick-or-treating. Some people do, but it's not.
It's definitely getting more popular year by year, I'd say, though.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's also, I think, more communities and streets doing it, because it's not really a thing now to go knocking on strangers' doors.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't get trick-or-treaters coming to my place. And I don't know if it's just because I'm generally working, so I'm getting home and they're doing it in the daytime instead of night. But
I
don't really see... I see a few people walking around sometimes when I'm, like, on the bus coming home. But it's not... Like here and where I lived before, it was never really...
Right. Because last year... so Kylie, my wife, like her family are obsessed with Halloween. Like we have Halloween decorations around the place all year round. And I remember last year before we all moved in together and everything, at their old place, I remember going around there on the night of Halloween, and there were so many trick-or-treaters, but they had decorations out the front, like a animatronic thing and stuff. I can't remember what it was exactly, but yeah, like it was like every 5-10 minutes there was a knock on the door. Like it was insane.
See, that would also be a bit annoying to me.
Yeah, true. Although
I mean, if I had people around and we were doing a thing and getting right into it, then of course. But if I'm just like sitting around doing my own thing and every now and then someone's at the door, that's kind of annoying.
See, I would love to maybe not answer the door, but hide around the side of the place in full Art the Clown costume when kids go up to the door and everything.
Like to traumatize people.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's what I want to do. Like, or even stand there like I'm a mannequin or something, and then when people come up, like then, jump out at them and stuff. Like, I love doing that sort of stuff. So yeah. But no, Trick or Treat, like I remember when that movie came out, I was working in a video store and I remember looking at the cover, and I actually didn't jump on it at first because, and I know this is going to sound weird, I thought the title looked kind of stupid, like Trick or Treat, and I thought it was like this, sort of low budget kind of shit movie that, wouldn't be worth my time, like, just one of those direct-to-video kind of things that just get put to the back of the store or whatever. But, so, yeah, I didn't see it for a while. And then when I finally got around to watching it, I was like, oh my God, this is so freaking cool. And, like, Sam was such a, iconic horror character and everything. So, really, really great film, that one.
Yeah, I loved it. And so straight after watching, I was like, all right, I'm going to put my pre-order in for the 4K that Arrow are putting out. Which I just got notification a day or two ago that it's on its way to me.
Yay! So good time.
That's exciting. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then another film that I finally got to is Repo Man, which I have heard. I don't know if I ever really heard specifically what it was about. If I have, I've forgotten. But I've heard about it for years, obviously, because it's from the 80s. And I just assumed it was, I knew it was Emilio Estevez and Harry Dean Stanton, and I thought, oh yeah, they're Repo Men, it's that kind of film. Did not know what type of film it actually is, which is a completely weird film with all this crazy stuff happening. But I loved it, and Emilio Estevez, the punk, was really cool and unexpected. But yeah, I loved his character.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
I'm so goddamn keen to see that film because, a friend of mine who was my neighbor at my old place, like, she one day was talking about this movie and she was just gobsmacked that I'd never seen it before. And I was the same as you. I thought Repo Man, like, maybe sort of a comedy film about people who repossess things or something like that. And the way she was going on about this film, how it was like this cult classic and everything, and I'm sort of thinking, what is it about this film? And then I looked it up and I read the synopsis and, I was like, oh shit, wow. So it's like this futuristic kind of cyber thriller sort of thing, is it? Like,
no.
No?
It's like an alien thing.
Oh, okay, right. I knew it had some kind of a sci-fi sort of a element.
Yeah, I think it's like a guy took an alien thing from a government place or something.
Oh,
so,
okay, right.
The government's after trying to get it back.
Yeah,
and then like it opens with the guy in the car gets pulled over by a cop, and the cop's like, "What's in the trunk?" And then when he opens it, this green light comes out, and he gets vaporized, and it's just his boots with smoke coming out. Is all that's left of it.
Ah, nice.
And so it's just that, but the car gets caught up in the like the repo guys are after it, and they've got their rival gang that are after the car as well. But it's also Emilio Estevez learning the job and dealing with people and all of that. But yeah, it's kind of weird, but it has a pretty cool ending as well. So yeah, I really liked it.
Yeah, cool. No, that is on my list of movies, like high priority movies to check out at some point. So, yeah.
Cool. I'm just going to shout out The Devil's Bath, which just came out on Shudder. That's set. I feel like I watched that a million years ago because I've watched so many things. Back in the old days. 18th century Austria it is.
Right.
And so it's like a small village. And this has the best opening because I didn't really know much of anything about it. I'd seen the poster and everything, and so I just decided to watch it, and it has a really full-on opening, which was very cool. Right. And then it's following this woman who's getting married and goes to live with her husband, and things aren't really going well. It's kind of a psychological thing, and weirdly it's based on like true people and things, because it was a thing back in the past where like religion was really strong, and so if people wanted to kill themselves they couldn't because it
was taboo.
Yeah, and so what they would do is they would commit a crime so that they would be executed, so that someone else is killing them, so that then it's not a sin. And
that's cool.
So this movie is kind of going on with that, following this woman who got married. So it's very cool. It's got some really cool gory stuff in it, and yeah, I really loved it. And it has a really cool score, which the music was done by the main actress as well. So
that's interesting.
Yeah,
cool.
So yes, I highly recommend that. And then the other sort of big horror, as far as word of mouth goes, is called It's What's Inside, which dropped on Netflix with no advertising or anything, but like everyone started watching and talking about it.
Yeah, right.
And it's a group of people who used to be college friends meet up again a few years later or something, because one of them is getting married. So they're having like a little reunion before the wedding weekend at one of their houses, and one of the guys that comes is someone that got expelled from college. And you kind of find out a bit about what that was about as the movie goes on, but he's become like some tech guy, and he brings this like machine that he's created for them to try out, and basically what it does is it swaps your consciousness with someone else. So he hooks them all up and they all swap bodies.
Right.
And then it's like a game that he, swaps them for like, or when he's showing them, he swaps them for a few seconds, and then everyone freaks out because he doesn't say what's going to happen. And then they decide to play a game where they'll just have a round where they'll swap bodies, and then they have to guess who's in which body.
Yeah, right.
And it just kind of goes from there, and it just is pretty crazy, and it's really cool how they film it because... so you're seeing sometimes like who's in which body and what they're doing in those bodies. So
right.
Yeah, that turned out to be really fun, and it gets a bit crazy. So yeah, that was just a really fun time. And the big thing for my month was, because I'm doing my 31 days of horror, I was looking on Twitter, and some random thing I saw, someone talked about Blood for Dracula, which I did not know. and they had a few images from it, and they intrigued me. So I looked up the trailer, and as I said in my review, I don't know how you could watch the trailer and not immediately go, I need to watch this right now.
Yeah.
Which is what I did. I watched it that night, and I was not prepared. I loved this movie. I think it's great. I ordered the 4K after watching a pretty crappy version on Tubi. But I can't recommend it to everyone.
Yeah, definitely.
It's the kind of movie that I could only specifically recommend to someone that I know well and know their movie taste well. So definitely don't take my word for it and go and look up what's in it, because there's a lot of questionable things, like really questionable things in it.
Oh, yeah.
But if you can deal with that, you've got Udo Kier as Dracula. And straight on my favorite Draculas list. It's so weird because he's kind of hot, but he's doing weird stuff. His acting is weird. Like some of his line deliveries make me laugh.
Yeah.
And it's just such a weird film that he basically needs to have virgin blood to survive.
Virgin blood.
Yeah. And there aren't any around, so he's traveling to Italy because everyone's religious in Italy, so he can find some pure girls and get some blood so that he can get better. But then it's really weird because he's like suffering because of the blood, so he'll be like writhing on the bed and making noises, and I'm like, so this is suffering, but it's also quite sexual, and I don't know if that's on purpose or that's just Udo Kier. It was really, especially one scene, the way he was acting, and then he'd put his hands on himself, and I'm like around his stomach, like he was ripping his shirt, and I'm like, I don't know from how you're acting if you are going to rip your shirt like you want to tear out your insides because it feels so bad or something, or if you're about to shove your hands down your pants, because it could have gone either way with the sounds that he was making. Right. So anyway, and he has his weird servant guy who is a very strange man. And they go to this house that has 3 daughters. But they're not pure. Well, 2 of them are not pure because they've been fucking the stable hand, and who's a very terrible guy. And so it's basically Dracula is there trying to get blood from these girls, and then having difficulty because they are not pure, and it just goes to crazy places, and all the questionable things. But I don't know, maybe it's Dracula under the spell, but I just it's the kind of movie that I really enjoyed some things, but I also cracked up laughing at the acting and things happening and the way people are saying stuff. It's hard to describe.
It is a bizarre film. Yeah, like I haven't seen it in 30 years or so. Like there was a friend of mine in the early 90s, and I remember once he was telling me about this movie, because we used to do this thing, like we had this fascination with the way Europeans swap W's for V's, like, so we used to talk about Volkswagens, and like we used to do that a lot. And then one day he caught wind of this movie where they're talking about virgins a lot, and we were like, oh my god, we need to. I can't remember how we tracked it down. It must have been on VHS because this was about 92, 93. And I know we saw it at least once, but it was so long ago that I didn't really remember a lot of it until you started just going nuts over this film, and I went onto YouTube, and not only did I find the trailer, but there's a bunch of movie clips as well, like the one with the loaf of bread and stuff, and and so I think if anyone wants to gauge what this movie is like, just do some research first, but you've got to check it out. It is
and watch the trailer.
Amazing.
That will give you an idea of the vibe, of like the tone of it and everything.
No, if you're after a really bizarre film, but that is just super entertaining, then yeah, you can't get much better than that one. Yeah.
And so then, of course, straight away I had to watch Flesh for Frankenstein. Well, not straight away. I ordered it straight away.
Yeah.
Could get a local Blu-ray of that from eBay, so I didn't have to wait too long. Because it's Udo Kier again, and the guy who played his assistant, who I think is Arno Jürgen. And
of course it is.
Same director, made the year before, so quite similar. So I feel like this one doesn't feel as crazy as Blood for Dracula, but it has moments.
Right.
Like the infamous gallbladder scene. Yeah, so this is, Udo Kier is he's making two monsters, and a man and a woman, so that basically he's a god creating his perfect people. And trying to get body parts, and they go to a sort of brothel place to get a guy coming out, so because they want a guy who's super into sex so that he will have sex with the woman. And they capture the wrong guy, cut off the head of the wrong guy who is not interested in women, so that adds a complication. But yeah, so it's pretty fun. It doesn't have the thing of Blood for Dracula, and I don't know if that's just because it doesn't have Dracula, but same fun acting and weird. And the guy playing the servant, who is Udo Kier's assistant in Flesh for Frankenstein, does some really weird facial things in this. It's just so weird. I'm like, I don't know how people can act so weird and not laugh while they're doing it. It's just, it's a talent, I guess, to it's creepy, weird stuff. So and the stable guy, who's that Joe D'Alessandro, that apparently is super well known for certain types of films, because everyone's like mentions him. So I don't know him except for these two films, but he's in this one again to seduce the wife this time, who's also the sister. And
wow, controversy.
Yeah, and another infamous scene that he's in bed with her and she's like full on licking his armpit, like full on. It's weird. She does it for a while. But you do get to see him naked. So I'm just pointing that out, because you don't often get full male nudity in movies compared to all the times you get women. So
yeah, exactly. Come on, bring on some more dick. Wait a minute.
So,
okay, that's not something I thought I'd say in this podcast, but there you go.
You're saying it on behalf of all the people who want that.
All the people who want dick, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got two more films that are not horror.
Yep.
I watched Slingshot, which just came available to rent. New Casey Affleck film with Samuel L. Jackson. And I thought this was great. It's by the director Michael Hallstrom, who did 1408. And some other things. That's the main thing I know. Psychological thriller. Casey Astronaut is Casey Affleck.
Casey Astronaut. Oh, okay.
Casey Affleck is an astronaut.
Right? Oh, right.
Yeah.
Casey Astronaut is an Affleck. Okay. Casey Astronaut. There you go. You heard it here, folks. Like, yep, a new actor is on the scene.
I told you my brain doesn't work when we record at night.
No, that was amazing.
Yes. Wait, who did I say was in this? I think I got all
Samuel L. Jackson and Casey Astronaut.
He's not in that. He's not in this.
No, he's not. Wow.
Oh, can we just cut this whole bit out?
Not a chance. Not a chance. This is amazing. Everyone right now is laughing with us. Not at us, with us.
Casey Affleck.
Yeah.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Oh, right. Now, we are not implying that all coloured people look the same. That is not what we are saying at all. No. They're just two very distinguished actors.
I always get them mixed up. It's like my Michael Keaton and Kevin Costner. I just
Right.
I see them and I know they're different people, but the
Yeah.
names get mixed up in my brain, and I'm like, which one was it?
Exactly. If you want to ever distinguish between Larry Fishburne and Samuel L. Jackson, Larry Fishburne is the one that doesn't say motherfucker a lot. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, so we've got Casey Astronaut, Lawrence Fishburne, not Samuel L. Jackson. Okay.
Yeah, and another guy who I don't know,
Yeah.
Toma Capone. So,
Ah, yeah, good old Toma.
so they are on a mission in space, which is doing a slingshot maneuver, and I'm just gonna say that's a big thing of the movie, but it's not about that. I saw someone in the review very upset because it wasn't a big thing about the maneuver. It was just a thing that happens in the film.
Not enough slingshots, 1 star.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
This is very much a psychological thriller, which I loved because it's not really, it's not horror, it's not action, it's not like an alien movie or anything like that. It's really about the mental states because they go into like a hibernation because they're traveling so far. And they come out of it and then go back and come out. And the drugs, because this is set a bit in the future, and the drugs they have for that can cause side effects. And so, you know, this weird stuff starts happening, and it's like, and one of the guys, the guy we don't know,
Yeah.
starts struggling and thinks like something happens with the ship, but everything seems fine. But this guy is like, no, we can't do the mission. We have to abort it and go back. And so he starts freaking out about that. And so they're trying to get this mission done and everything. And it goes from there, but it builds as it goes. It's also got flashbacks with Casey Affleck, had a thing with this woman who also works on the mission, was part of it, met her, but he's like a loner, so it wasn't, you know, a big thing, but he keeps having these flashbacks of her and everything. And so that's the movie as it goes. And then the third act is full on, like, my brain was locked on, like, what's going on? What's going to happen to this one? What's going to happen to that one? What's this and that? And yeah, and it just gets really good. And then has a really cool ending. So I absolutely loved it.
Well worth checking out then, hey?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool.
Don't know if any of that made sense, but anyway.
None whatsoever.
Then,
I wasn't even listening.
Like everyone else. So
come on.
Finally I watched Venom. Because this movie gets trashed a lot by a lot of people. And
myself included.
But it does have some good reviews, and I'm always intrigued when there's mixed reviews.
Right.
And so, I keep thinking about Tom Hardy since I watched The Bike Riders, and that's weird for me because he's never stood out in a film before The Bike Riders, and so I just thought I'm just going to watch something else with him. And so the third Venom movie is coming out soon, so I thought I'll just watch them now. If I like them, I can go to the cinema and see the third one. Yep. And it's really funny, and I'm like, that's why people don't like it, because not everybody, but when a comic book movie is funny, you know it's going to be trashed. So
yeah, not all the time. I mean, the Deadpool films have been very widely acclaimed.
Yeah, but a lot of the time, I just said not generalizing everything. But, look at the latest Thor movie. That got absolutely trashed. Someone even said it's too funny. And I didn't even know there was such a thing as something being too funny. And that's a negative. Like,
I'm too funny. But anyway. That's a very good point. Yeah, the Thor film. Yeah, my God, people went absolutely hysterical over that one because it had humor in it.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a breath of fresh air. So.
Comic book movies can be funny. Like, they don't all have to be super gritty and serious. And,
yeah, of course.
Anyway, I understand there's flaws in this, of course. Riz Ahmed is the blankest I've ever seen him. And I guess it was a choice for the character. Maybe going for something, but it didn't work for me. I have seen him in other things, luckily, so I know that he can be really good.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle Williams, besides not buying the fact of her and Tom Hardy together, her character later on does do some cool things, but she's just not really given much to do. But yeah, so it's pretty much about Tom Hardy for the movie, and
sure.
I enjoyed that, so that was fine.
Well,
and
good.
yeah, I just thought it was really cool, and some of the things that Venom says and that Tom says back to him. What's his character's name? Eddie. I just thought that was fun. The car chase was fun and funny, like just some of the comments and things. I'm like, this just really fun. So yeah, I'm looking forward to watching the second one, which I really wanted to watch straight away, but I had to watch homework movies for this, and then I have to watch horror movies, so I haven't got to it yet.
I know. Well, hey, at least you got to watch some movies, so, there's that. Yeah. Well, cool. Let's get stuck into then our... I know we've done things in a different order this time, but you know what? I don't care. We don't have rules. We're rebels. We do whatever the hell we want. So yeah, let's get into our little sub segment that we do now.
Segment.
Yeah, well, it's kind of I think our segments, like, they have theme tunes and stuff, like, this is kind of it's a segment within a segment in a way, like, it's sort of a part of our... I could spend 10 minutes explaining this and all of our listeners would just disappear. I'm just going to hand it over to you. What are we doing now?
Oh my God, I'm talking so much. Reeling in the years, where we pick a year, which we are going backwards a year every episode, and we just highlight some films that are underseen or underrated, that you may not have heard of or seen, and recommend that you give them a watch. And so we are up to 2016. And my usual disclaimer, I used Letterboxd to do this because it's a lot easier for me to look at what I've seen from each year. And Letterboxd goes by the first screening at festivals or whatever, so the years may be slightly off from the wide release years.
Yeah, whereas I just look on Wikipedia at 2016 in film and just go by that. Yeah, but I
can't be bothered looking at all the things I haven't seen, whereas if I just see what I have seen... It's a lot easier to pick out the good ones.
I find it interesting because when I go through, it's sort of interesting seeing... Because I noticed that this particular year, 2016, had a record number of films that I fucking hated. Yeah, there was like so many. I'm going along, I'm like, oh my God, like including... Because that was the year that I started my YouTube channel, Movie Talk with Dan Jensen. And so, I was kind of going and just like seeing as many movies as I possibly could. And there was one movie in particular that I came so close to walking out on. But, we're just not the sort of people who could do that, because you got to see the whole film and everything. But that was Blair Witch, which I gave it half a star out of 10. Or not star, but 0.5 out of 10 because only because of the marketing campaign. Because initially it was marketed as this new film called The Woods, and then at a convention they suddenly revealed that, like, the same poster but with a different title on it was like, ha! By the way, everyone, no, it's called The Blair Witch, and it's a new Blair Witch sequel. And I went bananas because Blair Witch Project is one of my most favorite horror films of all time. And I was so obsessed with that film when it came out, and so I was like, oh my God, a new Blair Witch film, woohoo! Went and sat down and watching this thing, and like it was just a carbon copy of the first one to me. To the point where I was sitting there, I was like, why am I even here? Like, this is just a really watered down imitation of the first film. But I thought, okay, I'll stick around. But there was not a single thing I liked about that film, but no, there was a number of films.
Yeah,
that
and now
came
we're going to get into
like.
our actual segment of talking about films that we like.
Yes, we are. Whoopsies. Do you want to start with honourable mentions or leave them till last?
We'll just leave them till last.
All right. Well, since you've been doing all the talking, I'm going to go ahead and start with... I'm going to pick these in random order. All right, I'll start off strong. I am going to recommend a film called Kubo and the Two Strings. This was done by Leica Studios, which does stop motion animated films. But this, oh my god! So I went to a screening of this film, and it just blew my freaking mind. The animation is extraordinary. Like, it's one of those things you watch and you're like, how can this possibly be stop motion? It's that good. But the story was incredible. It was all revolving around a musical instrument and stuff, and just had this whole big kind of, fantasy adventure sort of story going on. The characters were absolutely amazing. Yeah, it is an absolutely remarkable film, and I just can't recommend that one highly enough. So that was one of my top choices of that year.
I am going to start with a film called Tunnel, which is not the one everyone talks about, of the people going into the tunnel filming stuff and whatever. That
right.
I just found out recently is an Australian film. This is the obviously 2016 Tunnel, which is a Korean film about a man who's heading home, and when he's driving through a tunnel, it collapses. And so he gets trapped in there, and the emergency people are struggling to get in, and so he's got to survive, and it's kind of like Daylight. Except not a big blockbuster style thing.
Right.
Yeah, I don't remember how I found that, but it's it was a really cool film. I should probably watch it again. It's been a while. I gave it 5 stars.
Oh wow, okay. Well, that's good. All right, my next one on my list was a film that, oh fuck, this is a bizarre film, but it's got to be seen to be believed. So it's a movie called Swiss Army Man, and it stars Paul Dano, who is a guy who's alone on a deserted island, without any hope of ever making it off there, and then a dead body washes ashore, played by Daniel Radcliffe, and I don't even know how to describe this film. It is so bizarre, but in a really cool way, and you just laugh at some of the weird things. Like, so yeah, he sort of becomes friends with this corpse who, like, turns out to be very useful in a lot of ways. Like, including one moment where he uses the corpse as kind of a jet ski because the corpse is flatulent, and he uses the power of farts to actually use this corpse as a kind of a jet ski kind of a thing. Like, man, this movie is so freaking weird, but oh man, yeah, it's essential viewing, I reckon. Yeah, highly recommend that film if you're after something just completely left of center.
My next one is Without Name, which is I don't know if you'd call it. It's set in a forest or woodland area. There's a guy who's a land surveyor, and he's working out there, and just strange things happen. There's something moving in the trees and whatever, but it's one of those films that lots of people don't like. It's kind of like a bit of a mood movie. There's not a lot going on, but you kind of feel it. So that's on Amazon Prime for anyone in Australia, at least. And yeah, I don't remember a lot. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I really enjoyed it. So
cool. All right. The next one I've got on my list is it's a pretty wacky comedy, but it is essential viewing for cat lovers, and that is a movie called Keanu, that stars Jordan Peele, Keegan-Michael Key, so, you know, Key and Peele. I'm just going to read the Letterboxd synopsis. Friends hatch a plot to retrieve a stolen cat by posing as drug dealers for a street gang. And it also actually has Keanu Reeves as the voice of the cat. But yeah, look, it's a cat movie, okay? It had to be on my list. Yeah, it's not... Look, it's not brilliant, but it's definitely worth a watch. I mean, I did end up buying it on Blu-ray because, yeah, I thought it was a hell of a lot of fun. I love Key and Peele as well. It's the kind of thing, if you're a cat lover or a Key and Peele fan, or indeed if, the circle graph thing crosses in the middle, you need to see that movie. So, yeah, Keanu, definitely.
My next one is called This Beautiful Fantastic, which is kind of not similar, but it has the kind of vibe of Amelie. It's kind of feels like a bit of a fairy tale, and it's about this woman who's like quite reclusive and ends up sort of having a friendship with an old widower that lives next door, and there's a lot of like plant stuff. He's a horticulturalist and whatever. And we also get Andrew Scott in it, which is fun. So, yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, I am going to go next with a film that I know you and I both really appreciated, and that is Carousel, as in Carousel in capital letters. This is a film directed by the amazing Steve Rudzinski, and it is basically about a carousel unicorn who is sick of his job, and one day a bratty kid pushes him too far, so he breaks free and goes on a murderous rampage of revenge in order to like kill the kid that pushed him too far and everything. Look, it is everything you would expect from a movie about a sentient carousel unicorn on a murder rampage. It's extremely low budget, but it's that kind of low budget that it's charming, I mean, like some of the special effects don't even deserve to be called special. They're just effects. But yeah, look, it's fun. It's a really good time. It's only 70 minutes long, so it's not gonna, take up too much of your time or anything. Yeah, and it also is the first part of an entire trilogy, so... And got to give props to Steve Rudzinski, who played Joe. Was he a pizza guy? Wasn't he? Yeah. Who is he just steals every scene that he's in. He is an amazing guy. So we're big fans of Steve. So yeah, had to mention that film.
I think I only just mentioned that one last time as well. So we are the promo team.
Yep.
My next one is the third in a series of films. That are based on a series of books, and I have watched the first 3. There's apparently more. So this one is called A Conspiracy of Faith, and it's a Danish film, and it's following a police detective, is he? Anyway, it's this guy that goes to this department queue, and he gets teamed up with a partner, and they are looking into these crimes, and they're pretty cool films. The first one I gave 5 stars, the second one was not as good, and then this one I gave 4.5 stars. And so if you like your sort of crime drama type movies, these are really cool. I actually bought the book after watching them and started reading it, but the main guy is quite different, I felt, in the movies than in the book.
Right.
So I actually haven't finished reading the book because it just didn't interest me as much as the movies. But these are really cool. And for people in Australia, this third one, let me check the other 2. No, just the third one is on SBS On Demand. But I mean, the first movie sets up creating the department and how we got in there. I can't remember. I don't think you would need to watch them to watch this one. There might be a bit of continuing things, but it's a different case every movie, so I don't know. Right. But anyway, if you can find the other ones as well and watch them in order, then do that. But yeah, I recommend.
Cool. Look, my last movie before we go into our honorable mentions. Look, it's a movie. It was fairly mainstream, but not only do I no, like, so many people haven't seen it, but I'm just looking on Letterboxd. It's got 2.5, and I'm looking at all the main reviews, and like so many people are blasting this film. But to me, it is the funniest comedy, I would probably say, like, in the last 10 years or whatever, and that is Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates. It was a film that I didn't really sort of, think was going to be that great. It stars Zac Efron, Adam Devine, Da Vinci, Anna Kendrick, and Aubrey Plaza, and it's based on a true story about these two complete fuck-ups that the family is basically ready to disown them. And so in order to impress the family, because their sister is getting married in Hawaii, and so they put out an ad on Craigslist for wedding dates, and these two equally fucked up girls like answer the dates pretending they're all sort of prim and proper and everything, and so they take them to Hawaii, and hilarity ensues. This movie, no matter how many times I watch it, I cry with laughter. Not only did I think the characters were just so much fun, I mean, they're all horrible people, but it's one of those things because they're funny, horrible people. And
they're not real people that you have to deal with.
Yeah, exactly. But like, I'm just like, like so many of the reviews are just really, really bad. But no, I will stand by this film. I would absolutely rank it 5 stars. If a movie can make me laugh that intensely every single time, then I love it. And yeah, that to me was one of the best films of that year. Wow, if you're after a really funny movie, then yeah, watch that one and thank me later.
I saw that on that year I did my Zac Efron project.
Right.
And was going through them all.
I mean, you gave it 3 stars, so that's
I don't
not
really
bad.
remember it now, and I should probably revisit it because it's a good cast. Well,
oh yeah,
Zach and Anna and Aubrey.
Oh my god, they're all so freaking hilarious. Like, even the minor characters in this film are funny. Like, everybody has something really funny to do, yeah. So anyway, I love it. There you go.
Well, my last one is, I didn't think it would be that underrated or underseen, but then I remember we talked about it once in me and Nobbins, and you hadn't even heard of it. So I recommend Free Fire, which is directed by Ben Wheatley. Set in the 70s and with Cillian Murphy and Brie Larson. And it's a 2 gangs are meeting up to sort of do a deal, and then it becomes this massive shootout between them. And everyone looks cool because it's the 70s. And Michael Smiley is in it too. So I don't know. It's always fun when he pops up in movies. So yes, I recommend that.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm just gonna go through all of my honorable mentions, and I am going to try and keep this brief because yes, I do have a problem
they
where
are honorable mentions, not picks.
No, I'm not going to try and talk half an hour about each one. So, first one is a film that I loved, you hated, Lady Macbeth. See previous podcast episode to find out all about that. Another one that I'm going to mention, I know it's getting popular now, but it's only just started snowballing, but the original Terrifier came out that year. So, yeah, I love it. The Nice Guys, which was one of 2 films that I gave a 10 out of 10 to on my channel that year. It is perfect. It is brilliant. I cannot recommend it enough. Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stopping, which was a Lonely Island mockumentary boy band kind of a film. Loved it. And finally, Batman the Killing Joke. If you skip the first, I think it's 15, 20 minutes where they have this weird thing where Batman and Batgirl are getting it on and stuff, which wasn't in the book and has no relevance to the film. Once you start at the bit where the comic book actually starts, I thought it was brilliant. It is such a faithful adaptation. Like, it is the comic book come to life. And yeah, I thought it was absolutely brilliant. Oh, actually, no, sorry, there's one more. The Founder with Michael Keaton, about the story about the guy who created McDonald's. That was also a really brilliant film. And my channel was the very first one to have a review of it at the time when it came out. So it's kind of got a bit of sentimental value to me.
I've never heard of it.
Oh, it's so freaking good. And it's a really amazing story, you know, about how this guy kind of screwed a couple of people over to take over McDonald's and everything. Like, you know, it was kind of a bit of a heartbreaking story in a way. Like, these poor guys that actually created it and, you know, wound up with nothing. So, yeah, really, really good film.
Yeah, sounds like a good time.
It actually is, because it's a brilliantly done film. So, yeah.
Well, I will just mention that Eyes of My Mother came out this year, which I've talked about before. So if you like disturbing kind of arty horror movies, check that one out. And then that's also the year that I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House came out, which is Osgood Perkins' film, which a lot of people don't like. I thought was great. I haven't watched it in ages. I need to rewatch it. But it's, you know, it's a quiet film. And in his style, though, from what I remember, I don't know, I just thought I was just in it. So I don't know if that's why. I know a lot of those kind of movies get a lot of bad reviews, because you either like that kind of movie or you don't. But yeah, so that's my movies.
Cool. All right. Well, I reckon in that case it is about time we get deep inside Jared Leto. Yeah, okay, that sounds weird. No, so so for those of you who don't know what we do around here, we're going to get stuck into another episode of Hit or Shit, where one of us picks a actor or director and we watch a couple of films that... Well, yeah, because we do have a main film, but that was also tied in with Jared Leto.
Yeah, our main film is not connected with Hit or Shit, but I just thought, hey, we might as well pick this one that has Jared Leto in it.
Yeah, but even though I didn't really remember it all that well, so it is almost kind of Hit or Shit material. Yeah, so because Kylie and I recently went to a 30 Seconds to Mars concert, and Jared was standing there only a couple of meters away from me with those dreamy blue eyes staring at me and just penetrating my soul in a deep way, and I was happy to let him do it. We decided on him. And look, I know there are a whole bunch of different ways to pronounce his name. According to Wikipedia, it's Jared Leto. Some people say Leto. I don't know. I'm just going to go with Jared Leto because it just rolls off. Jared just rolls off my tongue that way. And so yeah, that's how I'm saying him. So we're gonna kick it off with our mutual film, which is Urban Legend. Okie dokie. So yeah, as I said, I know I saw this film back around when it first came out, but I didn't really remember much of it. So yeah, a college campus is plagued by a vicious serial killer murdering students in ways that correspond to various urban legends. And it's got quite a huge cast in it, and the one person who I was really happy to see in the credits, of course, was Michael Rosenbaum. Because for those who are unaware, Frankie and I are going to be jumping into another podcast, like a side podcast soon, where we're watching Smallville. We're getting right into that at the moment, and so yeah, I squeed a little bit when I saw his name on the screen, because I just love that guy so much. But yeah, so how long had it been since the last time you saw this film?
A couple of years.
Yeah, right.
Because a while ago, I think it was 88 Films released the trilogy on Blu-ray, so I bought that because I had never seen the third one. So I watched them all a couple years ago or so.
So yeah, like because around this time, sort of mid to late 90s, early 2000s, like there were so many of these kind of sterile horror films, I think is probably a word. They didn't have the grittiness of things like Nightmare on Elm Street, or the kind of late 80s slasher, no, early 80s slasher films, I should say. They were sort of more teen horror films, I guess, like you could say. They were kind of aimed at that audience, and so that's why I've never revisited this film, because in my mind I was kind of like, I'm not a really huge fan of those kind of films, but this was all right. I didn't mind it. I know you liked it a little bit more than I did because you gave it 4 stars. But yeah, so I thought, yeah, the intro was interesting, particularly when one of your favorite actors turns up as a gas station attendant, which I had no idea. I'm sitting there, I'm like, wait a minute, is that Brad Dourif? And then I was like, oh my freaking God, it is too. So, because yeah, this movie had a few horror movie people in. We had like Robert Englund, Danielle Harris, Julian Richings, I don't know how to pronounce his name. So yeah, which I thought was pretty cool. And yeah, look, overall, I don't know. It wasn't bad. Like, it wasn't very scary, I didn't think, and it didn't really sort of have a lot of kills
I was
on screen
surprised
and stuff,
at your review where you were like, you can barely call this horror, it wasn't scary. And it's like, so many horror movies are not scary, but are still horror movies.
Well, no, it was,
like most of them.
It wasn't just because of the scare factor.
That's what you said in your review.
Yeah, I know, but it was very late one night. I don't know. I thought it was more of a thriller than a horror film, but that's subjective.
There's a serial killer going around murdering people. Mm. That's kind of a horror film.
Yeah, but see, to me, Seven is a horror film, and a lot of people say that's a thriller. So that's what I mean. It's very subjective. Yeah. But anyway, that's kind of irrelevant. But I mean, you obviously, you really dug this film.
Yeah, well, this has nostalgia for me as well because it's from the 90s. And it's Jared Leto from the 90s. Yeah. So, because I was trying, actually, I'm going to look at that right now. Because I remember we all knew who Jared Leto was because of the teen magazines that we would get from America that had all the top stars of the time. Right. And he was in My So-Called Life, which we didn't get on TV, so we weren't able to watch it, but we knew who he was from the magazines. And I'm just, this might have been the first time I saw him, because I haven't seen any of his films earlier than this. Well, at least not when they came out. And I don't know if he did any TV stuff. But this might have been the first time I actually saw him. I reckon properly.
It was probably for me as well. And yeah, I mean, at the time I didn't really pay all that much attention to him in a way. I just kind of thought he's pretty cool, but I don't know. I was definitely more interested in Rebecca Gayheart, who is anyway. But overall, I'd recommend it. I mean, it's not a bad film. I gave it 3 stars.
To talk about it, if we're actually going to talk about it. We're not going to do spoilers, obviously, but I want to talk about the opening, and that's kind of a spoiler. So if you don't want to know anything about what happens, because I'm going to talk about what happens in the opening, which is not a spoiler, but it is. So this movie is quite judgmental about weird guys. It's very harsh. Yeah, she is so harsh about Brad Dourif. And I'm just like, you deserve to have someone in your backseat to take you out, because she's so mean to him before, he even really does anything except for his stuttering, and she's just judging him. So yeah, and I was just like, man, you're just like beating him up and then hitting him with your car and all of this, and he's just trying to help you.
Yeah, exactly.
And then there's the janitor later.
Yeah.
And Julian Richings, who's been in tons of things, but I don't know him by name. But not only are they, you know, anti him as well, just for being a bit weird, but his character name in the credits is Weird Janitor. And I'm just like, why is everyone so harsh about weird people in this film? It's just a bit sad, and they just like straight away think, oh, that's a dodgy person because there's, you know, they're not acting like us.
Yeah,
Very
exactly.
harsh. Anyway, so yeah,
and then no, I that is a very, very good point. But yeah, no, it's I don't know, yeah, kind of. I think it's the sort of thing like I'm probably going to remember it more now. You know, now that I've kind of rewatched it with a different perspective and stuff. Like, and it was fun also watching Alicia Witt, of course, who was the main character, Natalie.
Yeah, I've loved her since this film.
Well, yeah, and then she was in this year's Longlegs, of course, like, you know, as Micah Munro's mother. And it's sort of funny watching this one where she's so much younger, and it's sort of like, oh, wow, that's kind of crazy because we just saw Longlegs this year. And yeah, I know that actors get older and all that sort of stuff, but funnily enough, I did... And obviously, I'm not going to say anything till the spoiler section, but I did remember who the killer was, funnily enough. And the reasons why as well, which I thought was very strange, that I would remember something like that. Like, as not at first, but as the film's going on, I was like, wait a minute, I think it's this person. And I thought, okay, I'm going to hang on to that. And then, yeah, as it turned out, I was completely right. And I also really love the little nuggets of humor that were in this film as well. Like,
yeah, I wrote down a couple of things.
You got the Josh Jackson Dawson's Creek theme moment?
No.
Did you? Oh, because
I didn't watch Dawson's Creek.
Oh, because there's a bit, you know, where he's trying to start his car up and everything, and it finally starts up, and the theme to Dawson's Creek is playing on the radio, which I thought was
I thought that was just turn it off because it's a pop song, but okay.
No, that was the theme to Dawson's Creek. So yeah, that was a very cool little moment. What did you have?
Well, I thought it was funny that the first scene with Jared Leto and what's her name? Brenda, who is into him. And after he leaves, she's like, did it seem like he was giving me the eye? And Alicia Witt's like, it's probably the mirror behind us. And like they both turn and see the mirror, and then she's just like, oh. Like, yeah, he probably was.
Yeah.
And also with our janitor, when is it Reese, the cop? When she is just walking the halls, and then he suddenly turns up and gives her a fright, and she's like, you trying to scare me or something? And he just really deadpan is like, boo. I'm just like, I love that guy.
Yeah, that was cool. I really loved Robert Englund in this. I like that dude. You know, I know that he's obviously, you know, known mostly for playing Freddy Krueger, but he's such a powerful, commanding presence on screen. Like, he really, like, commands every scene that he's in. And, I thought he was really, really good as Professor Wexler in this.
Yeah, that was a good scene in the lecture hall talking about the urban legends.
Yeah, which was a little cheesy, but, you know, whatever. It's that kind of film. The only sore point for me was having Tara Reid in this because, oh my God, I can't stand that woman. I'm not going to get into this, but I don't like Tara Reid at all.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
that's all I'll
how
say.
sad that she was the girlfriend of your favourite.
Of my favourite?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, I know. That sucked. But anytime they were on screen, I was just like, oh, Michael Rosenbaum is so dreamy. But no, he was very cool in this, I thought. I thought, actually, it was a really good showcase of what a good actor he is, you know, like, because I'm so used to him as Lex Luthor, but I have seen him in a few other things. But in this one he was kind of like the laid back, carefree, sort of preppy, self-centered kind of college dude, and I thought he played the role really, really well. So yeah, he was good. Yeah. I don't really have much else to say about that film. Other than,
I will say that when I first
it.
watched this, obviously I thought Danielle Harris was the best because she's the goth girl. So
she was
really
in a couple of the Halloween films. Let me have a look. She was in Halloween 4, Halloween The Curse of Michael Myers, Halloween 5, the Rob Zombie Halloween films. She is like
She's also in a great episode of Charmed.
Oh, okay, right. She's kind of a horror staple, which is obviously why they put her in here as well. But she was very cool. I would recommend it. Don't expect too much, but yeah.
That's the thing. There's a lot of movies like this where you just watch them every now and then and just have fun with them.
Yeah, look, I would honestly watch it again. Because like I said, I've had this mental barrier where I've been, over the past 20-something years, I've been like, Urban Legend, would I watch it again? Nah. But now that I have actually sat down and rewatched it, I'm like, yeah, that was aight. So,
good.
Yeah. Yes, no, thank you for that. I got nothing else to say about that one. How about you?
No, we'll wait till spoiler time.
Yes, let's wait till Spoilersville. Which one are we going to do next? All right, how about we get stuck into Lonely Hearts, shall we?
Okay.
All right, you can tell the people what this one's about, being that this one was your choice in our Leto Palooza.
So this one is set in the 40s when the Lonely Hearts killers were around, and so it's following them meeting and doing their thing, and also two detectives who are trying to catch them.
Jared Leto plays one half of the killers, called Ray Fernandez. Selma Hayek, who's now Selma Hayek Pinot, I don't know, is the other one. And then the two detectives are played by John Travolta, James Gandolfini. Now, I am going to put in a disclaimer here. I tried my best to watch this film, but I was in an environment where there was a lot of noise and distractions around me, and I kind of missed a lot of the dialogue here and there, which was very annoying, and it was kind of taking me out of the film a little bit. So I do think I watched enough of it to have an opinion as to whether it was hit or shit. What did you think of the film?
It was a weird one. I thought for being about a couple of killers, a lot of the time they weren't overly interesting. And I actually ended up thinking the detective side of things was more interesting than they were. It did pick up a bit later on when they get to a certain house. For the sort of final part of the movie, that got a bit more interesting then, because it was building up to the end of the movie. But it was kind of a bit disjointed in the storytelling of them, because at one stage there was stuff with, they had dates on the screen and I wasn't paying attention. I don't remember stuff. So they had a date come up and I was like, have we gone forward or back in time? And then there was a woman they were talking about, and I'm like, is that the woman from the other thing? Have we done a flashback or what? But it actually had gone forward, and it was a different woman that they were dealing with. So that was a bit weird. But I don't know. I don't know if it's because it was broken up, switching between, but I just wasn't feeling. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really feel any chemistry between them.
Oh, wow. Okay, maybe I was kind of paying more attention than I thought I did, because not only that, I've looked at a few of the reviews on Letterboxd and everything as well, and I was kind of more the opposite to you. I thought the killer stuff was more interesting than the detective story. But one thing that I was sort of sitting there, and I thought it was because I hadn't really, grasped a lot of what was going on, but I kind of felt like the two stories were just so disjointed. You've got these detectives that are apparently after these killers, but it just felt like another story happening that wasn't actually to do with them.
It's not the opposite of what I said.
You said you found the detective story more interesting than the killer's story.
No, well, yeah, but you're talking about the whole disjointed two different stories, whatever, which is not anything to what I said.
No, but the thing that was opposite was that I found the killer's more interesting than the detectives.
Yeah, okay, but you just kind of were doing it all in this big long thing.
Yeah, okay.
So just that one thing.
But then from what I gathered, there were a lot of people who also found it was quite disjointed and stuff. And when I was reading that, I was like, oh, okay, maybe I was.
Well, yeah, because it's not the typical, like, detectives after a killer thing. It was just like, this happened, and then that happened, and then that happened, and
no, that's what I was picking up on.
And I didn't think the detective story was more interesting the whole time, but I got to be more interested in, I guess, more at the end because, you didn't really get a lot to do.
I liked because the stuff that the killers were doing was really quite brutal and disturbing in parts. Like a lot more extreme than I kind of thought it was going to be on screen. But there were some moments I was like, whoa, hey, these people are really serious. I liked the way that Martha was, really controlling Ray, a lot. Like I thought that was a really interesting dynamic between the characters. I kind of thought the whole Laura Dern subplot was, I don't know, take it or leave it. Like, I didn't really sort of think that enhanced the story in any sort of way. But yeah, I don't know. It was a sort of film that, look, I don't regret having watched it, but I wouldn't watch it again. And I'm kind of, if I had to pick hit or shit, I'm definitely leaning towards shit. Like, not to say that it's a terrible film, but I wasn't a fan. It was
just, I had ideas, but it didn't work. I don't know. I just feel like I was not drawn into the killer's world. And the detectives going after them seemed a bit... There was no kind of thrill of the chase or whatever. It's just like, we need to get these people, and then just suddenly it was like, oh, we've got a call, they're here, let's try and get them. And and
in the meanwhile, my son is having like problems with this other woman, and like, who cares? Like, what's that got to do with anything? Like,
well, that's your character development stuff.
I know, but it just felt too detached from the story to me.
But the whole thing was just...
exactly. Look, I wouldn't recommend this film. I thought, like, the production design was good, costumes and everything.
I thought the end was good.
Yeah.
Which I'll mention more in the spoiler thing, but...
Look, overall, I did think, though, it was quite interesting how they made Jared Leto look, though, like with that massive bald head and stuff. Like, it just, they definitely didn't make him look pretty. But speaking of making Jared Leto not look pretty, so the movie that I chose is a film from the year straight after Lonely Hearts, called Chapter 27, which is the story of Mark David Chapman in the days leading up to the murder of John Lennon, which I chose this one because that sounds intriguing to me, because I am a really big fan of the dark side of humankind, like what drives a person to take the life of another person. I am deeply fascinated by school shooters and serial killers and all of these sort of things, because I just can't imagine, what it must be like to get into that mindset, to actually rob someone of their life. Like, it's crazy. And so, yeah, this one appealed to me. And then, of course, I saw the poster where Jared Leto, gained a whole bunch of weight and had, I'm assuming that was prosthetics as well. Like, that couldn't have just been pure weight gain, right? Like,
I don't know. I was looking at his face at one time and I was like, if they are, they're really well done, because it just kind of looked like his jawline and maybe a bit under his jaw. But I don't know, because it all looked normal.
yeah. Like, it was fascinating to me because you could see Jared in there, but, it just looked different enough that I just thought watching this guy on screen, it wasn't Jared Leto anymore. It was Mark David Chapman. And not just because of the way he looked, but the way he changed his voice, his mannerisms, everything. Anytime in future, if people say to me, "Oh, Jared Leto is such a shit actor," I'm going to be like, you need to watch that movie, because holy fuck, he was amazing in that film. Now, what are your thoughts on this film? Because I have no idea what you thought about it.
Well, I will say, how people have sounds that their brain just hates, like the whole fingernails on the chalkboard thing, that you just get distracted by how much the sound is bad. Yeah, that was me for his voiceover narrations.
Really? Oh, wow.
I got used to it after a while, but yeah, that was... I just couldn't deal with the way he was talking.
Oh, really? Wow.
I don't know. I felt like this movie was really... Like, I see people say, why does it need to be made? I felt like it was really drawn out. Like, it felt like a really long time watching, considering it's pretty short, wasn't it? Yes, it's only 84 minutes.
84 minutes.
But it felt really long, because I guess there wasn't a whole lot happening. He's just standing around waiting for John Lennon half the time. But I wrote down I was 3.5 minutes in of his voiceover, and when he started talking, and I checked the runtime, and that's when I went, oh, okay, it's only 84 minutes.
Oh, that's a shame.
His voice was just a lot.
I fucking loved this movie to the point where I need to own it on Blu-ray.
Wow.
I loved it. I actually, it was... Like I said, I love that darkness and exploring what drives a person to do something like that. And I love that this film was just about him and his mind. And, and not only that, it was one of those movies that inspired me immediately after to jump onto YouTube and look at interviews with Mark David Chapman. And this movie apparently is extremely accurate in terms of the events that happened. Because I'm watching this interview with Chapman, and he was talking about all these things that happened, like the date with Jude in the restaurant and the photographer, and
I was thinking as I was watching, I'm like, well, these people would have all been people that could tell their stories of dealing with him.
That was fascinating. But I loved it. I thought it was a really great exploration of someone, in that kind of mentally ill state that, they're fixated on a person and they have to kill them for all these various reasons that he had and stuff. And I thought it was really well done. And I was just reading now, that was not prosthetics.
Yeah, see?
That was actually Jared with 60 pounds of extra weight, which is, what's that, about 30 kilos or whatever in real money. Lindsay Lohan was in this as a character.
Yeah, she was good.
Who went by the name of Jude. I thought she was fine. It was a small role, but when you get to moments it's a real event, so it's not really spoilers, but there's a moment where Mark Chapman is introduced to John Lennon's son Sean, in a park and stuff, and that actually happened. All of the interactions, the things that Lennon said to him right before the shooting, that actually happened. Yeah, it was really interesting. Plus, it was actually filmed at the building that it happened, and it was actually the building that they shot Rosemary's Baby in. So that
That was
also
my
appealed to
favorite
me.
bit of the movie.
Yeah,
Was
yeah,
when the
yeah.
guy is saying they shot Rosemary's Baby here, and he's like, the movie? And he's like, no, the baby. Yeah, the movie.
Yeah, yeah. No, the way that tied in with the whole Manson and Beatles thing and everything like blew my mind because I never knew about
Yeah.
that. Look, I freaking love this movie. I reckon if anyone out there is interested in that kind of subject matter and stuff, yeah, I would strongly recommend it. But that's just my personal opinion.
Well, it depends. I mean, I love that stuff, but this movie felt long. It felt like a story a bit stretched out.
Right, right.
And I
Yeah,
would not
okay.
watch it again.
Oh,
Like, I've
yeah,
seen
no,
it.
I definitely would.
That's enough.
Yeah. My heart was fucking pounding.
Really?
Because, yeah, it was in that moment, like, where he's standing around waiting for Lennon and everything, and, like, I mean, because I knew the timeline of events and everything, and,
Oh, I didn't, and I'm just like, okay. I
Right,
mean,
right.
I'm not wishing it, but I know it's coming. Can we just get there already? Like, there's so much waiting around,
Okay.
and then when John finally walks out, I'm like, oh, here we go, and then it doesn't happen, and I'm like, oh god,
Yeah.
well, when are we gonna get there? So this
But that
should be
built
done.
tension for me.
Well,
That
it didn't
that
for
really
me. It
built.
just meant, oh,
Yeah,
now we gotta
right.
wait for longer.
Okay.
I didn't feel any tension really. I just felt
Oh,
like
wow, I did.
sadness because it's a real life thing, but yeah, I didn't feel
Yeah.
tension for it.
Well, fair enough. Well, clearly I am absolutely going hit with this one. What side of the fence are you leaning on for this one?
I am more shit. I didn't dislike it, but I didn't overly like it, and
Yeah, right,
yeah,
right.
that voiceover narration just. I'm happy I don't
Yeah.
have to listen to more of
Because
that.
that was also accurate. Like that is what Mark David Chapman sounded
Yeah.
like. Funnily enough, so
I mean, I figured
know,
it must have been, and it wasn't just Jared Leto going, I'm just going to talk like this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, funnily enough, so the guy who plays John Lennon in this thing, albeit briefly, was named Mark Lindsay Chapman, which I thought was amazing. And I did some looking into that. So, apparently, there was another John Lennon movie that this guy was going to be cast for a few years earlier, because apparently he is actually a really good John Lennon impersonator, which, when you think about it, that's kind of mind blowing. But Yoko Ono herself actually put her foot down and got him kicked off that production. So, he didn't get to play him there. But so, yeah, when this film came around, they were like, okay, like now we get to give this guy his chance at playing John Lennon. So, yeah, which I thought was all quite very interesting. But, yeah, there you go. So... All right. Well, you got one hit and one shit, so you guys can make up your minds as to
yeah, never mind.
what you want to do with this film. Yeah, we've given you enough information to make up your minds yourselves. So, yeah. All right. Well, that concludes this fortnight's feature films. So, for the next one. Being that the next episode is not going to be in Halloween month anymore, we are going to be diving into a movie that is a really big favourite of both Frankie's and mine, and that is 2007's Hot Rod, which is just one of the funniest films ever made. I mean, you would agree with that, wouldn't you? I know it's a tall call, but
it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's going to be our main film for next time. And I know ordinarily at this point we choose 3 films and we go through reviews and everything, but you know what? We just can't be bothered tonight. So instead, we're just going to kind of loosely describe the films to each other. So did you want to go first? Are you ready for this?
Oh, yes.
Maybe.
Okay. Oh, hang on. Now I've ended up with 4.
Oh, well, that's you can't do that. That's breaking too many rules. I mean, we've already broken all sorts of rules tonight. We've got our segments in like a random order. We've got Nobbins on here. We've
Okay.
This is crazy.
Do you want a like spy comedy kind of fun film? Do you want a hangout film? Like a one night only, over the course of a night hangout film?
Yep.
Or do you want an action film? Just to be really vague.
An action film. Wow.
Well, I don't know how else to
be more
describe
specific?
it without giving away stuff.
Okay.
Hang on.
This worked well.
Hang on. All right. Then instead of that one,
oh wow! Talk about building tension. This is the podcast equivalent of hanging outside a building waiting for someone to come out.
Do you want a rom-com with an Australian twist?
Oh, okay. Look, after all that, I'm leaning towards the spy comedy.
Interesting. Okay.
Is it though?
Well, you'll find out. We'll be watching The Spy Who Dumped Me.
Oh, wow. Okay. Which is a film I've been Is that the one with Melissa McCarthy?
No. It's the one with Mila Kunis and Kate McKinnon.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay. Yeah, no, I don't know why I haven't seen that film yet. It's just... What's the one with Melissa McCarthy? Is it
I don't
Heat?
know.
Maybe am I thinking of?
Don't know.
Oh, I don't know. Anyway, cool. No, that's good. I probably should get around to watching that film. So there you go. All right. As far as my 3 choices, one of them is a comic book style movie with a kind of a dark horror twist. One of them is a hyperkinetic martial arts action comedy sort of a film with just one of the best martial artists you'll ever see in your life. And the third one is a really goofball comedy with a absolutely mind-numbingly awesome soundtrack of kind of 90s dance music, which I know you kind of think, huh? But no, after you see this movie, you're just like, oh my god, I love these songs now. Yeah. So, dark comic book movie, action comedy, martial arts, or kind of a silly, crazy comedy.
I'm going to go the first one.
The dark comic book film? Brilliant. You are going to be watching... Hang on, what year did this movie come out? Because I just kind of feel like I'm going to sound more like I know what I'm talking about if I say the year. Because I think it was 1990. Oh, it was 1990. You are going to be watching 1990's Darkman, directed by Sam Raimi and starring Liam Neeson and a whole bunch of amazing people. And oh my god, that is just one of my most favorite Sam Raimi films. You don't even know what you're in for. No, it is brilliant. Do you want to know what it's about?
Okay.
I'll read you the thing. Dr. Peyton Westlake is on the verge of realizing a major breakthrough in synthetic skin when his laboratory is destroyed by gangsters. Having been burned beyond recognition and forever altered by an experimental medical procedure, Westlake becomes known as Darkman, assuming alternate identities in his quest for revenge and a new life with a former love. But the gimmick of this is that this synthetic skin only lasts I can't remember, like an hour or something. So when he assumes these identities, to go and do a task, he's only got this certain time period before his face starts melting off and stuff. And yeah, it is brilliant. It's typical Sam Raimi, hyper fast cutting and editing and weird camera angles and stuff. Oh my god, this movie, yeah, you're gonna love it. I promise you that. So there you go. Well, oh my god, this is going to be a really fun episode for the next one. We're going to be doing Hot Rod, Spy Who Dumped Me, and Darkman. So, yeah, absolutely stay tuned for that one, everybody. We are going to go and jump into the spoiler section now. So if you don't want to hear spoilers for Urban Legend, Lonely Hearts, Chapter 27, this is where we're going to leave you. Thank you so much, everyone, for sticking around and listening to us talk movies and answer trivia questions and badly and all of that sort of stuff. We will catch you on the next episode. Bye for now. Stay safe. Watch lots of movies and all that stuff. And for the rest of us, let's go. All right. Urban Legend. Oh my god, Rebecca Gayheart, what a freaking maniac she was at the end of that film.
So much fun.
She just went from, like, you know, ridiculously hot, cute girl and everything to this fucking psycho at the end. I think maybe her over-the-top performance at the end was what kind of made me remember who the killer was, because I'm watching, I'm just like, I'm so sure I remember her being just, like, absolutely insane. And, yeah, I got that at the end.
And I love that. I love that they went that full-on with the character, because it just made it so interesting.
Yeah, and I thought, like, her whole motive and everything was really plausible. You know, I liked that. And then, yeah, that's what I mean. I kind of thought, oh, she had some connection to that guy that they accidentally killed. And I couldn't specifically remember that they were a couple. I thought, oh, was it her brother or something? Like, which maybe might have made it a little more interesting. I don't know. And I also dug the very, very end, you know, where the new group are talking about the, you know, the urban legends and all that sort of stuff. And, like, you know it's coming. You absolutely know what's going to happen. But then, of course, yeah, it turns out that she's sitting there. You know, I was like, oh, let me tell you what really happened or whatever. I'm paraphrasing, but yeah. So no, that was a lot of fun. The whole third act, I thought, and it elevated it to, you know, like even more fun for me. So yeah, I thought. Yeah, like, I mean, I know they kind of had red herrings in it and everything, like, you know, that Professor Wexler may have been the killer and all of that sort of stuff. But, yeah, I thought they were quite well designed red herrings. Like,
and I hope that they got confessions enough for Brad Dourif to go free, because I'd forgotten that they say later in the movie that they arrested him. Because at first when they said he was missing, I was like, oh, did the killer go back and get rid of him? But then they said, or Reese says, I think, that he got arrested. So I'm like, I hope they let him go, poor guy.
Yeah. I did love the fact that Tara Reid's character got mutilated. Like, yeah, that brought a smile to my face. Not so much for Michael Rosenbaum, who got flushed down the toilet.
He didn't get flushed down the toilet. He got, like, drain stuff down his throat.
Yeah, I know. But he also got his face in the toilet bowl.
Ugh. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not what killed him.
I know. But yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, I don't know. I kind of thought, like, maybe, you know, if there'd been a little bit more on-screen violence and stuff, it might have been a bit more of a good time for me, but I'm just kind of a bit twisted like that. I want that in my horror movies, you know. I want to see people getting absolutely butchered. Yeah, in movies. I will add, in movies. I don't want to see that in real life. Yeah. I don't know. Was there any other spoilers for this one? No,
just that was it. Who the killer is? That's the
maniacal Rebecca. Yeah, bravo to you, milady. You did a great job. Lonely Hearts. Yeah, they murdered a pregnant woman. I mean, holy
and a kid.
Fuck. Yeah, exactly. My God, yeah, that. I mean, I know there was some pretty fucked up killings. Like, I mean, you know, they shoot the old man just for his dog, and like they were pretty psychotic. But But yeah, again, I loved that.
That's what I was. Scene. Once they got to that house, the movie got a lot more interesting just for that final, and when the cops find out where they are and get there and everything, and then the electric chair scenes.
Yeah. But no, I really dug, when Ray's standing there with the gun and like Martha is like, do you love me? And, he's like, of course I do, or whatever. And, she's like, well, you got to shoot her. And it's like, holy shit, no. And then, every now and then he's like, obviously, he's pointing the gun at Martha. And I'm thinking, yeah, do it. Like, get rid of her. She is just manipulating you. But then he ends up shooting the woman. It's like, wow. I actually didn't expect that. I kind of thought there's no way they're going to kill a pregnant woman, and then what are they going to do with the kid? And it's like, holy fuck. I mean, yeah, okay, you didn't see the kid getting killed, but yeah, that was brutal. And that's what I mean, like all of that stuff I thought was really fascinating, but yeah, but it just wasn't enough to really kind of elevate it to a completely interesting film. Yeah, but anyway, did you have any other spoilers for that one?
No.
There's no spoilers for chapter 27 because John Lennon dies. There you go. The movie kind of. Oh, did you know why it was called chapter 27, by the way?
No.
Because Catcher in the Rye has 26 chapters, and so because Mark David Chapman had sort of fancied himself as Holden Caulfield from Catcher in the Rye, they kind of so this was kind of chapter 27, like an ongoing
what was weird though, when they have him at the end where he is in the mental place and it's all like brightly lit, and then he just looks up into camera at the end, but the way he's talking, it's pretty much like I want to be known, and you've just been listening to me tell my story, so you are buying into what I want. And I just thought that was really interesting. Then he looks at the camera, which is also interesting because I'm like, yeah, I didn't need to see this movie. I didn't need to know about him.
Right.
And it's given him what he wanted.
Well, that was one of his motives.
Felt
like he was taking John Lennon's fame from him. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I still know that there is a man named Mark David Chapman who killed John Lennon. Like, that hasn't changed. I was just interested in exploring, his mindset and stuff. Yeah, but yeah, there aren't really any spoilers you can say about this film because you can just read about it on Wikipedia, and that's exactly what happened.
Which is enough that you don't need to watch the movie. And listen to that voice.
Just go and read the Wikipedia entry on the murder of John Lennon, and you'll find out everything you need to know. Yeah, cool. All right, well, what do you say we get out of here? Because I know I'm tired. You're probably tired. We're all tired. Like, yeah, and I got chillins to deal with and all that sort of stuff. So, all right. Thank you, everyone, for sticking around to this point in time. And yeah, we will see you on the next one.